A, AA, AAA. What are they? Alcoholics Anonymous, the Automobile Association, maybe anti-aircraft artillery. A's mean lots of things in the real world, but in the accessibility world they mean just one thing: WCAG compliance levels. Hi, this is Stephen, and welcome to Exploring Accessibility. So what are these abbreviations, apart from being terrible names? What effect will it have on your website? And what does it mean for your site's design? And by design here, I don't mean just what it looks like. I mean how it's constructed and how it functions. There are 3 levels of WCAG compliance. The more A's in the name, the harder it is to comply with, and the more effect it will have on your website. A is the lowest level of compliance. These are small changes, the low-hanging fruit of the accessibility world, but they offer the least benefit to end users. AA is the mid-level compliance. It's harder to achieve and will have a greater effect upon your site's design. It's the level of compliance for the Web Accessibility Directive, the European Accessibility Act, and ARDA. AAA is the highest level of compliance, with the greatest effect upon your site and its design. It's also the hardest level to achieve. Even the W3C's own website said it would be very difficult, if not impossible, for most sites to comply with, at least on every page. To meet compliance with one level means complying with the previous level in its entirety. The WCAG compliance criteria are categorized according to the POUR principles, that is, perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. These principles are required for making content accessible to as many people as possible. Perceivable means that users can see and understand the content, although this doesn't have to be always visual. Operable means that the interface and its components are usable via a variety of different means. Understandable means that users can read and consume content no matter which method they choose, and that ways to interact with the content are the same and consistent from page to page. Robust means that a variety of different assistive technologies and user agents, in this case browsers, can access the content. In case you're wondering, the WCAG 2.2 includes 87 compliance criteria. The actual number you will need to comply with is dependent upon your compliance level. So, does every country require the same compliance level? Pretty much. The Web Accessibility Directive requires AA compliance. The European Accessibility Act doesn't actually specify a compliance level, but we can probably safely assume that it will be AA in the same way WAD is. ARDA doesn't actually specify a compliance level, but it's been affirmed in court cases that compliance is AA. Australia's Disability Discrimination Act doesn't actually specify a compliance level because it was created before the internet, just like ARDA, although it has been affirmed in court that compliance is AA. Other countries also have laws regarding accessibility, and pretty much all of them require AA compliance. This begs the question, why are there 3 different levels? Possibly at the beginning, when these criteria were first drawn up, it was felt it would be easier to implement accessibility if they had 3 different levels, so that you could go through it in stages. However, since nearly all regulations require AA compliance, it has become the de facto standard for accessibility. AA is the level of compliance required to make sure most people can use a website. This makes A pretty much pointless.
First, A. How would you define A?
Ooh,
Oh, I love this. I love this. Quizzes.
hang on, it's coming.
Hey, ooh, crikey.
Hey.
Oh, yes, I got it.
What?
Well, it doesn't really mean anything, does it?
Good.
AAA doesn't fare much better, especially since the W3C's own website discourages its use. I think it would have been better just to have one set of compliance criteria, A and AA, with a set of best practices, AAA, that could also be followed if possible or required. Also would have made it a lot easier for people as they wouldn't have to go through so much documentation. Considering that documentation is about accessibility, the W3C aren't exactly the greatest at making documents accessible. There are a total of 5 compliance requirements for the WCAG, and the compliance level is just one of them. The second compliance requirement is that whole pages are accessible, not just part of them. Likewise, the third requirement is that all steps in a process are accessible, like the checkout process. Every single page in that process has to be accessible. The fourth requirement is basically the robust part of POUR. The different assistive technologies and user agents can access the content. The fifth and last requirement is that non-accessible technology can still be used, and that there is alternative content available for accessible technology, and that the non-accessible technology does not block access to this content. I believe this would be something like VR content, accessible via VR headset. This content should be available in other forms, for example, a screen reader, and this content should not be interfered with by the content for the VR headset. Another example might be a gaming website that lets you control Pac-Man via a joystick, which you then use to navigate to different parts of the site. This method should not interfere with other methods for interacting with the site, like keyboards or screen readers. Keep in mind that there's more to compliance than just A, AA, and AAA. The European Accessibility Act, for example, allows countries to create additional requirements that go above and beyond the WCAG. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to be notified about more videos exploring accessibility.